Thanks, Dick. Jeff Gordon is on a flyer in his Hendrick Chevrolet. This could be a pole-winning run, and that gap continues to increase as you look at that number with a white background next to his 24.
She's pegged.
Yeah, he's flirting with being lost a little bit late exit at turn 4, but I think
pretty good. Pole.
That was a little different from last week.
That's better than the old boy.
Another new track record,
yes, sir,
for Jeff Gordon.
Nailed it. Nailed it, boys.
Yeah. Hey, don't you have a show to do, man?
What time is it?
It's time to go.
Hold this. Hey, I'm running late. I don't know how am I going to get the racetrack?
Here, my car's valeted downstairs.
Man, I owe you one. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks.
Get out of here.
All right.
You ain't Jeff Gordon.
But I am Jeff.
Whoa.
Jeff Gordon, who's won here once before.
early light.
And hey, your brother pulled it off last year from the back, actually. How's your car and what's your chances today, man?
Well, we feel pretty good with our Miller Lite Dodge. We were able to sit on the pole and get a good feel for it in happy hour. But the sun's out. Standing right. 3 and 4 gets real slick as the day goes on. So
May have changed, and I think we could see it change throughout the course of the day.
Today's race, last year's race was 427 miles. Today it's 400 miles, 267 laps.
Pit road speed, 45 miles per hour. A lot of speeding penalties in yesterday's Nationwide Series race. The pit window for Sunoco Race Fuel, 52 to 56 laps.
A very difficult pit road to get onto without hitting that commitment cone, or actually ended up out in the grass.
Now that's a sharp transition off turn 4 to get to pit lane. Leading the field, the 2011 Shelby GT 350, bringing back a famous name from the past. Shelby's modified version of the 2011 Mustang GT. Lights are out. We're ready to go.
DW, she's hot, she's slick, but she's still fast. Best advice I can give you, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
All right, Larry, message received. Green flag in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Viva Las Vegas, boys! I think you can immediately see why he chose the outside, the 2-car did on that start. There's a lot of momentum on that outside line.
Dale Jr. had to drop back to 6th to find a place in line. Here comes Gordon. He wants to lead lap 1 from Kurt Busch.
He's got it.
I think what happened, Kurt Busch overdrove turn 3. Busch won the battle getting in the corner. Gordon won the battle off, and it carried all the way down the straightaway.
Couldn't get back to the throttle. He was waiting on the car. But these two guys look like they might want to just go at each other here for a while.
Yes, they do. Kurt Busch fighting back. I think he'll win this battle getting into turn 3.
And Ryan Newman lurking in 3rd. Trouble turn 2. Car in the middle of the back straightaway. Down on the apron. Caution wave. So Jeff Gordon, your leader. From Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano. Logano led a lot yesterday. A nationwide race.
Tell you what, he's actually been solid here all weekend long, and Denny Hamlin, I think, was driving that car yesterday for Joe Gibbs Racing. It's the first time Joey's not run a Nationwide Series race this year.
Oh, thank you.
They are close to what they were a week ago at Auto Club Speedway, but you got a half-mile less racetrack to do it in. That just shows you how fast these cars are here at this mile-and-a-half track.
Yeah, good. The tires that they run here this time, the left sides are so much better than what they've had in the past. That's where the speed came from.
New rule implemented this year. They've pulled Kevin Conway back to his pit because he sped, leaving the pits to try to beat the pace car and stay on the lead lap, and that will get you a speeding ticket. So Conway will lose that lap that he tried to regain from the field, and we're ready to go back to green.
Yeah, the penalty in the past was just tail in the longest line, but now it's a 1-lap penalty.
Never quite understood that one. I'm glad they fixed it.
This time with Kurt Busch on the inside, Jeff Gordon on the outside. One quick caution and we're ready to resume with 5 laps complete. Green flag. This time 7 cars break away from the pack just a little bit.
Tell you, a car getting racy early. When he cut that qualifying lap on Friday, we thought it was a pole lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 car. It's just been a good racetrack for him the last 2 or 3 years.
I like the way it jumped out from under him off
The car.
Looks like they fixed it pretty well. Talking about, I'm going.
Jeff Gordon has led every one of the 12 laps so far. 18 laps complete. Jeff Gordon has doubled his lead on Kurt Busch to 1.5 seconds.
Speedway, a lot due to part shortage.
Jeff Gordon's walking the dog, Steve. He's 2.8 seconds up on Kurt Busch.
Mike, he's walking the dog, but he's still looking for more speed. He just told crew chief Steve Letarte, I'm a little bit loose on throttle exit, and the back end doesn't feel secure enough in turns 1 and 2.
Jeff's really, really good. I tell you, matter of fact, I don't realize sometimes how good he is at giving feedback about what his car needs, and he's usually pretty good about making a suggestion about how to fix it.
Well, and I think this is where problems are going to start to show up. We're 25 laps into this run. As we've already documented, this track is very hot, very slick. This is where you're going to start to see issues show up.
Eric Elmer.
Loose in the back.
That's Jeff Gordon. Grass in and back out. Jeff Gordon, your leader over Kyle Busch. He's opened it up to 4 seconds.
You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Jeff Gordon has led the first 34 laps of this race. The most laps led from the green here is 50. Well, Jeff Gordon has already put 10 cars a lap down.
Smelling racing.
Travis Kvapil goes a lap down. Long John Silver car.
Oh, Jeff Gordon, he's going to put some cars a lap down here if we don't, something doesn't happen pretty soon. Good cars, I'm talking.
See Sam Hornish there lined up for the free pass. He was the 77 was the first car 1 lap down. He had just been lapped by Jeff Gordon.
And that's surprising because Sam qualified well, he practiced well, and here already he finds himself a lap down.
But you were right, Darrell. That caution came just right for some guys like
Whoa.
Denny Hamlin, Casey Kane, Martin Truex Jr. They were right on the verge of going a lap down.
Jeff was after him.
Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Pit road's open, and it's going to be a busy place. Dick Bergman.
Well, Kyle Busch is going to pit in the 2nd position, Mike. They really took some gambles this morning, changed some springs just before the start of the race, trying to figure out what the weather was going to do to their race car. Right behind him, the 16 of Greg Biffle. He had been running in the 3rd position. Both cars running a bit loose. Steve.
Well, Dick, Jeff Gordon's going to get a small track bar adjustment. He wants to feel that rear end of the track. A little more security for Jeff Gordon. 4 tires. Matt?
And the pole sitter Kurt Busch is in. They're going to go with a track bar adjustment. You can see the wrench in the back window. About a round also, Steve Eddington called for an air pressure change on both right side tires to try to get the car a little more back to the balance that they had expected. He's away.
One thing that'll be consistent is that right there. 4 tires for everybody.
Pretty crazy on pit road, too.
Yes, it was.
Second caution of the day comes at lap 47 in Las Vegas. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Jeff Gordon has led every one of 49 laps. One more circuit. He'll tie the record for the most laps led from the opening green. Jeff Gordon from the outside pole in his Hendrick Chevrolet has led every lap. Kurt Busch started on the pole for Rod 7 last month, and he's still dreaming up new things, building new cars. They revived the most famous performance icon name of the 60s, the GT350. You order a brand new 2011 Mustang GT from your Ford dealer. They send it to Shelby, who massage it and put a whole lot of Ford racing parts underneath, and you end up with this white with blue stripe, or vice versa, 500 horsepower.
Single file restarts used to could pass to the right before you got to the start finish line once the green flag is displayed. Now you have to stay in line until you get to the start finish line. NASCAR is already warning these drivers you have to.
So Gordon ties the record for consecutive laps led from the start of the race. Jeff Gordon was second at the last scoring loop passed before the caution flag waved. That's how they line up with the Busch brothers in row 2. Two of the Roush Fenway cars, Edwards and Kenseth. Row 3, then Earnhardt, Johnson, Newman, and Logano, the top 10, as we go back to green to start lap 57.
Second place guy is not supposed to beat the leader back across the start finish line. The leader is supposed to be the first one to hit the line. That was a dead heat right there.
Boy, I'm going to tell you who got a run off turn 2. Kyle Busch in that 18 car just turned down under Biffle in that 16.
Kyle's been sitting back there in about 3rd or 4th place up till that caution came out. I think you're going to see a different race once now that these cars have been in the pits and a little work done on them.
A little bit of home track smack with that move as Kyle and Kurt Busch together. The native Las Vegans go to the inside trying to get to the front.
Guys are really on it. When you're up on the outside, you got to be really careful because there's a fine line there. You get up there a little too high getting that loose stuff and you're going to hit the wall.
Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon once again shows his dominance. He is moving away smartly from car in the wall off turn 4. Robbie Gordon hit it, continues. Elliott Sadler just behind him.
The wall pretty hard.
Yeah, he hit it real hard, Mike. That whole right side.
Oh. Jeff Gordon 1.1 ahead of Greg Biffle. 73 laps completed in Las Vegas. Jeff Gordon's led 68 of them. 11 times he has led the first 50 laps in a race. 3 of those resulted in victories, once at Dover and twice at Martinsville. We've had 3 caution flags for a total of 12 laps. And in the garage area, Mike Bliss, Bobby Labonte, Michael McDowell, and Eric Almirola.
Those first 3 cars, though, the 24, 17, and 48, their lap times are mirroring each other's. 85 to an 86, somewhere along in there every lap.
But, Steve, nobody's catching Jeff Gordon.
Copy.
Steve?
And Mike, listening to Jeff Gordon, he just got off the radio with Steve Letarte. He said the car's good right now, but you guys have talked about changing track conditions. He says now the car is a little bit tight getting in the corners.
One thing we have to keep up with Jeff Gordon is think about this. How many times halfway through the race, he runs good, leads a race like this, halfway through something happens to the car, and all of a sudden he can't get out of his own way.
Well, and what has happened to him before, he's been up in clean air, leading this race a lot. We see him sometimes get in trouble back in traffic. Car drives totally different.
Matt Kenseth is slowly eating into Jeff Gordon's lead. It stands at 1.1 seconds. Gordon, the leader.
Congratulations on 10 years. 10 years? Congratulations, 5 to 10 years. I've done a great job. Thank you for all your incredible coverage.
17 of Matt Kenseth looking for a little bit more front grip. Steve?
Chris and Jeff Gordon said the rear grip is better, but I need a little bit more help turning, so they're going to take a little air out of the right front tire, Matt.
And Joe Karasinski already made the wedge adjustment on the left side of Carl Edwards. It's a little free, but not bad on the 99.
Only 2 leaders in the race so far. Jeff Gordon leading 80-plus laps. Nation's fastest 3G network.
We'll get this the hottest show on TV right here.
Thanks, Matt. The green flag will wave to begin lap 98. 97 complete this time by out of 267 laps. Matt Kenseth brings him across, but Jeff Gordon timed that restart perfectly.
Matt spun the tires just enough to give Jeff a little bit of a jump, but I think Matt's going to fight back here on the outside.
They restart without Kurt Busch, whose car is still under repair in the pit lane.
Guys, I'm going to tell you who's becoming a player here. We talked about him earlier, like in hot slick tracks. It's Tony Stewart, that 14 car. He's moved into the top 5. He's in 4th right now.
For the lead, side by side. Gordon on the outside, Kenseth on the inside with his teammate Carl Edwards behind him.
17 car Kenseth is strong down in the bottom of that racetrack. Man, he got underneath Jeff Gordon and powered up out of 2 or 4.
It's almost like Gordon's maybe a little stronger on the high side through 1 and 2. Kenseth a little better down in 3 and 4.
I think when you run low in 1 and 2, you cross those bumps, upsets the car just a little bit. Here's where Matt's really strong. When he gets back in it right here, he's been really pull up underneath Jeff Gordon.
Gordon's car a little loose in the transition there.
That's what happens when you get the nose of that inside car right along your rear quarter panel. Kind of loosens you up. That's what happened to the 1 car.
Kurt Busch is back in the race. The pole sitter has lost 3 laps due to crash damage. As Gordon hangs tough on the outside and gets a good run off turn 2.
When you're down on the bottom like Matt is, Mike, you need the whole racetrack. You need to be able to come off and coast, let the car go all the way out to the wall. When somebody's out there, it hinders you just a little bit.
You know, as I watch those two guys racing side by side, Gordon and Kenseth, they have a little history here. 2008, they wrecked with 5 to go racing for third. They also had history at Bristol, at Chicagoland. They had a lot of history with each other.
I bet they don't even remember that, Larry.
But I bet you they could.
Until now.
When Paulo Montoya has been released from the care center, Dick Berggren.
Well, Juan Montoya is taking a look at what is left of the back end of his race car. Your teammate, Jamie McMurray, has apologized for the incident. How bad is the car? Could you get it back out?
Get back out, you know. I know he's trying to prove a point to show everybody he can drive a race car, but it really ruined going to 3 and then playing simple just wrecked us. So I don't know. Not doing himself too many favors.
Indeed. Juan Montoya, thank you.
Let me correct Dick, because Montoya drove his car back to the garage. Pit road's open, Krista.
Matt Kenseth said, Todd, I hate to say it, but we are just about right. Just a little bit loose for the 17. Meanwhile, the 48 said he's free, but it's not a bad free. Steve.
Krista, they might just do fuel only here on the 24 car. No, he has to back up. He overshoots his pits, but gas only for Jeff Gordon after overshooting pit road.
Show you what happened to Jeff Gordon coming in here trying to get to a stop. Whoa.
But you love the fact that NASCAR official was right there letting Steve Letarte know you're outside your box. As long as you push it back, good to go.
4, 3, 2, 1. Leave on me. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. All right, start to go, 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 go. Outside, outside. 14's coming. Race it. Race the 14. There. My bad. Damn it.
Well, that is the only mistake that Jeff Gordon has made today. Locking up the brake and slightly overshooting his pit. That's why right now his Chevrolet lines up third instead of first, where it's been all day.
Crew chief says got the perfect strategy, and then the driver slides through the pit box.
The leader is Scott Speed. Where have we seen this strategy before?
You know, going back to that 24 car situation, Steve Letarte had to be on his game right there, because if they have fueled that car before they put it back in the box, it'd have been a penalty. That's pitting out of the box. So they really had to be on their game right there.
And one thing I'm anxious to see here how the 82 does, because one thing I noticed, Jeff Gordon gets out front, he pulls away. The 17 car got out front, he pulled away. See if this 82 car could get out front and pull away. That would tell you about.
And Mike, just to add to what Larry McReynolds just said, Jeff Gordon also told those guys, great job. That could have been a lot worse than it was. Thanks for taking care of me.
Yeah, he could be fighting to get a lap back right now.
We're 112 laps complete, 155 to go here in the desert. Scott Speed is the surprise leader during this caution. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, second and third. For Hendrick. Scott Speed did not stay at the front for long.
No.
Jeff Gordon, even after that just fuel only stop, has gone back to where he's been most all day, right out front.
But I think Scott Speed was Jeff Gordon's best friend. Of course, remember, Jeff restarted this race back in fourth, and now he's took the lead.
Larry, you know you're having a good day when you can have a problem in the pits like the 24 just had and come back and jump out there and get the lead back.
So Greg Biffle has gained just 2 spots, Dick, since that restart. He's mired deep in the pack.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing on the 24 car, Larry, he's blazingly fast for about 5 laps. And he's able to get that lead he gets on the second place car. We see right there that gap. Now, as they run a few laps, you'll see the 17 car back here at Kenseth and the 48, they will start to ease back up on the back of Jeff Gordon. Like Gordon's car is really good on a short run. I don't know how it's going to hold up on the long run.
Bright sunlight, and there's more of that to come. But right now, the entire Jeff Gordon is your leader, but Jimmy Johnson is closing. He's cut that lead down to half a second with Matt Kenseth third, Jeff Burton, and Kevin Harvick.
Been watching Dale Jr. just a little bit, Larry, Mike, and he really he's been running a really high.
Paying dividends for the 88.
Well, they finished second in the Daytona 500. They were off a little bit last week at Auto Club Speedway. I said all along, you know, these first few races at a lot of different racetracks, that'll be the better measuring stick for how you stack up than the Daytona 500.
Now, since we went to break, the 18 has fallen out of the top 5. Kyle Busch. Jeff Burton up to 4th. Kevin Harvick up into the top 5. And you see the gap continues to shrink between Jimmy Johnson and the leader, Jeff Gordon. Here's what Jimmy said after the restart.
You can't slow down the field like that, man. I don't know what the hell I was supposed to do there. But don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. Clearly, I need to vent a little.
You know what? This is not unusual for this 48 group right here. When Jimmy's down, Chad is the cheerleader. When Chad's down, Jimmy's the cheerleader. It seems like one of them's always working to cheer the other one on.
I think he was talking about Scott Speed bringing that field down for the start. Remember, Speed did not pit. Wasn't carrying quite as much speed.
But, you know, not a typical Jimmy Johnson day, and that was Rick Hendrick we saw there in the pit. Good to see him back at the track.
But you're right, Darrell. I mean, we got the reports he was complaining about that car the minute the green flag dropped.
The gap has now stabilized at just about 0.6 of a second. Gordon to Johnson.
I think we've said this about this car, and the thing about it is, this car is, maybe you're not great, but you're as good as, you're the best car out there.
Let's have a look at speeds as they cross the line. When this track was reconfigured and the banking increased, business picked up, and so did the speeds here in Las Vegas.
It's like one lap the 48's a little faster, the next lap the 24. They've kind of stabilized right there.
They reconfigured the racetrack. It wasn't a lot of fun. It was flat, and it laid out here in the hot desert sun. It was slick all the time, and it was really hard to race here. But with this new banking and the progressive banking that they put in the track, it's really
ultra race summary. We're just past halfway, and Jeff Gordon has led most of the race. But Jeff Gordon now leads teammate Jimmy Johnson by that same half a second, with Jeff Burton 4.5 back, and Matt Kenseth not quite 5 seconds back. Krista?
Well, the 17 crew jumped up
under green early. Krista?
Yeah, this is absolutely what they did not want. One of the leading race cars, they just made a 2-tire stop on the last one in. You see him working on the right side, that potential loose wheel. That's what Matt was afraid of. He thought it was the right front. Todd Parrott saying it was potentially the right rear. They're changing the left side tires as well. Matt Kenseth is down and away.
Kenseth was in 3rd place. He loses a lap on the racetrack to race leader Jeff Gordon.
So what they're going to do is hold their breath here for about 15 laps, hoping it cycles through. But the problem, when all of those guys make their green flag pit stops, we're down to a one-stop race.
Got a little bit of a battle for the lead here shaping up. 48 car is now caught the 24 Jeff Gordon. 48 looks like he's a little bit better right now, and he's able to get off the corner a little better than Jeff.
Brian Vickers.
Unless there's somebody in his way.
Yeah, that would be Brian Vickers, who goes a lap down to the leader. Now Johnson scoots past.
See right here that the 48 car is really, really good. I mean, pretty good on the bottom or the top, seems like.
But that 24 is able to keep her wound up there on the high side.
Got that good momentum down the back straightaway, but I think the 48's got his number right now.
And Gordon continues to catch lap cars, and that's not helping the situation any.
Brad Keselowski going a lap down to Jeff Gordon, and that will leave us 23 cars on the lead lap.
I've been watching these two guys. They've been running different lines at the different end of the racetrack. Now Gordon goes to the top, Johnson to the bottom of the racetrack, but I think Gordon will keep her wound up on the top side, and as you see there, Gordon comes right back to the front.
Jimmy Johnson has not yet led this race today. We've had only 4 leaders: Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, and Scott Speed.
Two pretty equal race cars right there.
Now, just up ahead of the leader are two fellows who are just racing their tails off, Allmendinger and Dave Blaney, who led last week in California. Blaney's here to run the whole race today, and they had battled quite a bit side by side. Now that gets resolved in favor of Allmendinger, and the leaders can work their way past.
And you know, Darrell, we talked about this track cooling down. If the 48 car was experiencing a lot of problems earlier, we talked about that at the top of the show. Cooler weather, track cooling down, fixes a lot of handling problems.
Crew chief can't fix it, but Mother Nature can.
Well, the ambient temperature is warmer, but the cloud cover we've had for the last 45 minutes or so has cooled the track.
Well, we talk a lot about that, and just think about it, folks. Walk out to the mailbox someday in your bare feet with the sun shining on the driveway, and then walk out when it's cloudy. Well, that's the way a racetrack affects these race cars.
Next Sunday, same action, even faster on the high banks of Atlanta Motor Speedway. NASCAR on Fox from the sunny south.
Now you see Johnson, now that Gordon has put a little distance on him, now Jimmy in the 48 car, he's moved up to the high side in 3 and 4.
That's what I've been noticing about the 48 car. He kind of can go anywhere he wants to. He's just trying to figure out what line gives him the best overall lap time.
How far to pit stops?
Oh, about 8 to 10 laps.
Well, we'll be back for him then. Jeff Gordon continues to lead in Las Vegas. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, sprint.com/speed.
You know, Mike, as we get close to these green flag pit stops, it was one of the keys that Jeff Hammond had in the pre-race. This will be the first time you're pitting under green. You can't.
Guy 24 is on pit road.
Jeff Gordon is in along with Denny Hamlin and Waltrip Racing. And here comes the man who has led most all the laps today, Steve.
And Mike, Steve Letarte just told Jeff Gordon nice and easy on pit road, and he told the pit crew, let's have a nice conservative green flag stop. Little chassis adjustment for Jeff Gordon. He said his car has gotten tight, Matt Yoakum.
The 9 of Casey Kane, they've just about seen it all today with all the different.
Here's Tony Stewart in front of Steve.
Mike Joy, Tony Stewart says his car is squirrely on the beginning of a run, but then it gets better. Most recently, his car loose on exit, tight in the center, 4 tires, and an air pressure adjustment for Tony Stewart.
Brian Vickers and Elliott Sadler coming in.
Jeff Gordon back in the lead.
So Jeff Gordon is back up front where he's been for 143 of the 165 laps today. 97 laps to go in Las Vegas. Jeff Gordon leading Jimmy Johnson by just 0.4 of a second. Matt Kenseth 6 seconds back. Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick.
We want to show you something now that's
stop and the out lap.
Right, 2 laps total from the start finish line, including the pit stop. Real important how you get on and off pit road without speeding on green flag stops.
If you listen to a Formula One race, for instance, they always talk about the in and out lap. Your in lap before you pit, and then how good that is, and making up time coming in and getting out.
Well, good indication of both driver and crew effort. Couple of penalty stops. Sam Hornish too fast on pit road. And Max Pappas, tire violation by the team, making the change. So those are both going to be passed through penalties. DirecTV head-to-head knockout. It's coming. You fill out your bracket, you could win a Mustang. You could win $1 million. For more information, go to directv.com/NASCAR. We're ready to play. You get ready too.
Speaking of playing, that 24 car is not playing today. I don't remember the last time that Jeff Gordon has led 154 laps in a race and had a car as dominant as this. They are putting good cars a lap down. He and Jimmy Johnson, who's not too far behind him, they are really picking them up and putting them down today.
Gordon's pace leaves us with just 15 cars on the lead lap right now. 84 laps to go. Jeff Gordon still leading Jimmy Johnson now by 1.1 seconds. Came to pit road, put tires on it, sent him back out. And now Jeff Burton has fallen off the lead lap, and so too is the 99 of Carl Edwards, getting lapped on the racetrack by Jeff Gordon.
Mike, the last time that Jeff Gordon, I said I couldn't remember when it was. Last time he led 150 or more laps in a race was at Martinsville in 07. Last time he led 150 laps on the super speedway was at Texas back in 07. He finished 4th that day.
Wow.
So this is one of the best performances. in quite a while for this 24 team.
I just think the track conditions that we have went through and experienced, it's helped a lot of cars, but I think it's hurt some cars, possibly Carl Edwards being one of them.
Let's get an update on it.
Warning at all. He just says, I got an issue. I'm coming to the pits.
And the problem with that
talk about it.
Yeah, the problem with that stop that he made, I mentioned a while ago that everybody now, if we stay green, and we don't think we will, but if we do, everybody's on a list to make an extra stop.
There are your leaders. Gordon and Johnson now about 0.8 of a second apart.
Junior was just about to go a lap down there to a second ago. What happened anyway? How did he get away from those guys?
Well, let's take a look.
This is over in turn 2.
Side drafting here. He just gets down there and gets a little air off of the back of that 24 car and almost pulled him around.
But Jeff Gordon has already clinched the 5 points bonus for most laps led in this race, and it's the most laps he's ever led in a Las Vegas race.
He's just been totally dominant today. I mean, this is great to see him back running this well today, but it's so out of character to see him up there flexing his muscle like he is.
Let's talk about meanwhile, Jeff Gordon has dominated throughout the race and maintains his lead.
After 211 laps, Jeff Gordon, who has led 188 laps. Here comes Greg Biffle. This summary has been brought to you by UPS, the only delivery company trusted trackside by NASCAR. Dick?
And Biffle continues his march to the front, Mike. He pulled off the racetrack in the 7th position. That from being all the way back in 25th. The car is a little bit tight. He just stalled the engine there, but no harm, no foul, no problem. The pit crew has consistently done a nice job today. Biffle stalled it again. That is going to cost him some time.
And you know, Darrell, what I think, a lot of these guys that are running so far back, in fact, we're seeing Jimmy Johnson on the 48 car on pit road. He's trying to pick up some ground, Krista, with fresh tires on that 24.
Jimmy Johnson said his car is good on the exit. He needs work on the entry and the center. You see the adjustment being made. The crew coming around to the left-hand side for a 4-tire change for Johnson.
I can almost guarantee you that 24 car will be here very shortly because his teammate was there, and here he comes.
Casey Kane in the pit lane. Clint Boyer pits out of 9th place. Kane was 8th, and here comes the race leader, Jeff Gordon. Rudiman is in, Earnhardt coming, and Carl Edwards, all making pit stops after 100 consecutive.
Matt, the 24 car has freed up a lot on exit. He said, I need more rear grip on exit. I can't get on the gas. Steve Letarte said, give me all that gas, boys.
Get it to the white line. There you go, right there, 4,000.
Brad Keselowski, a penalty. It's Tony Stewart pitting out of the lead after leading 6 laps. We continue under green with 49 laps to go. Steve.
And Mike, Tony wanted to stop 2 laps sooner, but he could not get down off turn 4 like he wanted to. Now his car loose getting in and tight through the center. 4 tires for Tony Stewart to stop coming on lap 219.
Darrell, I think I know why they're using the black flag. They also post the number of the car on the flag stand.
We cycle through pit stops, and Jeff Gordon goes back to the lead with 47 laps to go. Jeff Gordon, your leader, with 42 laps to go. He is just 4/10 ahead of Jimmy Johnson. Johnson's been lurking right there most all day. The 3rd place car, Matt Kenseth, will need another stop, and so will the 5th place car, Tony Stewart. Thanks, Jeff. Good point. And Kyle Busch apologized to his crew, saying in his rush to get onto pit road, he locked up the brake, didn't
brake for everybody except Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, because he was about to put Joey Logano, Mark Martin, Clint Boyer a lap down.
We'd have had about 5 or 6 cars on lead lap the way it was going.
But if you remember, Mike, FedEx Unders, I think everybody will get 4 tires because we don't have that many cars on the lead lap, and pit road will not be very busy the first time. When they open it for the lap down cars, it's going to be very congested.
And 4 tires are so good. I think if you leave with 2 or no tires, that's going to be a very temporary gain.
Well, it is. You know, we don't have that many laps on these tires, but where it'll bite you is later on in this run.
That's temporary insanity right there.
What hotel is that playing at?
Welcome to Hotel Insanity. It's down there in the infield.
I think our crew is staying there.
Pit.
Oh, a little bit of a feint, but never mind. Here come the leaders. Krista.
And the call is for 4 tires for the 48. Jimmy saying his run started off good, got a little bit tight. They're going to raise that bar a round and a half. Chad now said, here we go, boys. Steve?
Well, Krista, we think this is just 2 tires for Jeff Gordon. Slides to a stop just in a nick of time. Little chassis adjustment. And just 2 tires for Jeff Gordon. Matt.
And Casey Kane has started to lose the nose again. They're
Boy, this is going to get interesting.
I like this strategy.
We'll find out how good that 24 car is now.
Just 6 laps down currently, but Jeff Gordon, who started on the outside pole and has dominated, leading more than 200 laps in this race, got away in the beginning and got away impressively.
Not to pit. Clint Boyer did not pit. He is our race leader.
And see, under the old rules, until they made the wave around rule, our leader would be starting mid-pack.
Hey, he'd be starting 20th.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
You know, with Clint Boyer up there not coming to pit road, I can't help but think back to a year ago. He stayed out, didn't win the race, but finished second, stayed out late in the race.
Jimmy Johnson restarts 4th. He has 4 tires. Tony Stewart restarts 7th. He has 4 fresh tires. Here we go. 34 laps to run.
He is putting the splitter up under the back of that 33 car and giving him a shove, baby. Holding me up.
And he's going to take it to the high side. Almost made it 3 wide. We may have just given Jimmy Johnson the keys to the candy store.
I think we did. He's got 4 feel goods on there, and he's going to town.
Johnson gets a big run off turn number 4 and sets his sight on the man who has led almost this entire race, his teammate Jeff Gordon.
Could be it right here. Got to be careful down underneath your teammate like that. Don't want to suck up into him.
Well, I think Johnson wants to take advantage of those tires early. He don't want to wait to do it as he turns down under him. They're side by side.
He got
3 and 4.
That car on the outside will pull that one on the inside around every time. Had to get out of the gas.
So Gordon holds the lead. Boyer 3rd, Harvick 4th.
Not surprising. Those 2 tires will be all right for a few laps, but those 4 will prevail eventually.
Let's check with Krista in Johnson's pit.
Well, ironically, Mike, last week, Chad Canal said the one decision he didn't like that he made was when he made a 2-tire stop midway through the race. Jimmy Johnson wasn't happy with his car early, but he trusts his crew chief. Here's some of the chatter they had just a few laps ago.
You're not going to like this. Tires, bro. Those guys are on 2, man. All those guys are on 2. Either we lapped a lot of cars or a lot of people took 2. Because there wasn't many people on pit road when I came down. But half the field is a lap down. Okay, that's just talking. Yeah, there's 13 cars on the lead lap. Your first one on 4 tires there, brother. This thing has got Jimmy Johnson written all over it.
Well, now with the cars that took the wave around, there are 21 cars on the lead lap, but none seem capable of challenging Gordon and Johnson.
Go get him.
That's his spotter, Earl Marvin, Jimmy Johnson's spotter.
Tell you what, he's got his work cut out for him. That 24 car is still mighty strong.
In the last 79 races, Jeff Gordon has been to victory lane only once. Last April at Texas. And that was another 1.5-mile track, much like this one.
And a place he had never won. As a matter of fact, no one was there. Rick Hendrick wasn't there. His wife wasn't there. I guess they didn't think he could win at that racetrack.
Never quit working on that car since the drop of the green flag.
So the gap stabilizes at its usual 0.4 of a second. First to second, Gordon to Johnson.
Dan corrected, Mark Martin only changed 2 right side tires, but boys, we got a battle for the lead with 26 laps to go. Johnson is there again.
I think the air pressures in that 48 have kind of come up now. He's going to start making time.
26 laps to go. 2 Hendrick cars out front. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson.
But think back to last week. Kevin Harvick was able to catch. My mind went blank.
Same guy he's chasing right now.
Couldn't get around him.
Caught him, couldn't quite deal with him. This has been all Jeff Gordon's day. He's led 210 of 242 laps. We've had 7 cautions, most of them very brief ones, and only 1 major crash that involved Daytona 500 winner McMurray, pole sitter Kurt Busch, and Wampala Montoya, McMurray's teammate. It's happening now inside the Sprint Cup Series.
You know, this just has so much of last week written on it. these two guys fight, not two different guys, one of the same players. But Gordon is now trying to force Jimmy Johnson, I think, to pass him on the bottom, and I don't know if Jimmy's car is that good or not.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Jimmy Johnson in that 48, he drove her down into turn 3 that last time. 23 laps to go.
Well, there's no holding back now. We know that.
U.S. Olympic hockey team, silver medalists, but high marks to the U.S. Olympic four-man bobsled team. They won the gold medal, and it's all due to the efforts of Jeffrey Bodine, a past Daytona 500 winner, who one morning on Daytona's pit road said, I want to go drive that bobsled, and he realized they didn't need better drivers. They needed better sleds. And with Bob Cuneo of Chassis Dynamics, they got them. And the American bobsledders win the gold, and that project now moves down to Concord, North Carolina to Cheech Gardy and Mike McLaughlin to build the future U.S. sleds, as Johnson is trying it, and he can get oh so close, but can't get Jeff Gordon.